Oh, Star Wars. I just can't seem to quite let you go. The Acolyte. So this is the latest Star Wars series to come out. If you are not familiar with my other stuff, I have fallen off a lot of Star Wars lately. Most of the shows have not done much for me. I think the only ones that I have seen through completion were the Book of Boba Fett, first season of Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the first season of Mandalorian, and that's it. Like, it hasn't grabbed me. And I've tried some of the others. Some of them I haven't bothered with. It's been a mix of just feeling like the shows are pulling on stuff that I don't know. I never really got into the Clone Wars thing, so I tried Bad Batch, but it was pulling so much from the old show. I'm like, this is meant as a continuation for people who watched the Clone Wars and maybe even Rebels, and I didn't. And, stuff, similarly with stuff like Ahsoka. That's a continuation for a character I don't know. And I'm just left in a position where I'm like, a lot of what you folks are focusing on is just not what I love Star Wars for. And to be honest, part of me is surprised they even took a look at this, because if there's one part of Star Wars that I am deeply tired of, it's the Jedi. Funnily enough, I think this premiere first 2 episodes of The Acolyte actually kind of demonstrates why. They're real boring. And I don't mean that in like the storytelling, this is boring. I mean, the Jedi are depicted, I think, accurately as being, for the most part, really boring, really uninteresting, not very compelling to watch. And that's kind of the problem that I have with them. Like, the part of what works about the original trilogy is that there aren't a bunch of Jedi around. You have Obi-Wan, who, like, Alec Guinness sold it, and he kind of gives it that mystical feeling, and, Luke pursuing that. But, like, when they're just all wandering around and they're all flat and have very little affectation and all talking about how they shouldn't have emotions, I'm like, boy, like, sure would be nice if you had a few, because, wow, you're dull. And, yeah, a fair number of them in this are as well. But of course, they're not really the main focus. The main focus is the titular Acolyte. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I feel about this right now. So, we've got our main thrust of this is this pair of twins, both of whom were present for a disastrous event in their youth, implied to have been initiated by one of them, but they both survived, but each thought the other one died. One of them was taken in by the Jedi and went through training but did not complete it. We don't really have details on that. And the other appears to have been taken in by, the obvious thing is to say, the Sith, because we've seen her master, like, has a red lightsaber, so that's generally what it's mean to signify. But like, on paper, that's a pretty interesting idea. I think the thing for me is that I wish I just knew these twins better. I wish I knew either or both of them better. Honestly, it's so vaguely sketched out that after the first episode, I was prepared to put down money that it was going to turn out that May, the quote-unquote evil twin, at least so far as it's being presented right now, was going to turn out to not be real and was just in Osha's head, and was like a, I don't know, secondary personality or something she was repressing. It's confirmed pretty early on in the second episode that's absolutely not what's going on, but I guess I kind of wanted it to be, because it meant there was only one character for the show to really get me invested in. Instead, there's two, and I'm kind of just left going, okay, Osha's got this very amicable personality. She seems kind of interesting, but she's thrown into situations right off the bat, so I don't really get a sense of who she is as a person beyond the vaguest sense, and a lot of it just makes other people around her look bad, not anything reflecting on her. But, like, she has this stuff with this former fellow Padawan, Yord, I think was his name, and wow, does he embody the Jedi are freaking boring. And actually, that almost seems like it might be part of the point, because like she's trying to be chummy with him and he's just standing there all stoic. I'm like, dude, wow, you're dull. Oh, spoilers, by the way. I should have mentioned that earlier, but like I knew Carrie-Anne Moss was gonna die in the first episode. I absolutely knew that. They put her all over the trailer, all over the marketing. But you know what? Every time she was in a scene in the trailer, it was always clearly in that same setting with like the wooden walls behind her. I'm like, I bet you she's only got one scene and she gets killed. And she does. It's a pretty decent action scene, all things considered. But it's also one of those things where like, okay, so a character I don't know just killed another character I don't know. That's not inherently a bad way to open something, but it's a risky way to open something when neither of those people are people we're going to be focusing in on right away. I mean, this is, I think, part of why I assumed that Osha had like a secondary personality, because it just seemed weird to me. You initially hook me in on a character that is not our protagonist, but this also doesn't, at least so far, seem to be much of a villain deep dive. I don't know. It's not bad, but this certainly doesn't make me think, boy, I should check out the other Star Wars stuff I haven't bothered with. It certainly doesn't make me think that. And I'll probably stick with it, but this didn't leave a ton of impression on me. Osha's little Pip, or little pocket droid, that's cute. That's cute. I kind of like that. But like, it's just little things like that. I'm like, oh, okay. We've got a Wookiee Jedi Master. Okay, that's cool. Although, like, the points at which they're ending episodes feel like weird ending points to me. Like, I get that this is a serialized story. It's not going for episodic, so I'm not looking for any kind of conclusion. It's just weird that, like, first episode ends on, ooh, and there's a guy with a black lightsaber. Oh! And then, like, ooh, here's a Wookiee Jedi. Oh! I'm like, okay, but neither of them do anything. I guess that's meant to be a hook into the next episode, except since the show has not yet picked up on the guy with the red lightsaber, it's not training me to get excited about what's in the next episode, because you've already shown me we're not necessarily going to pick up on that right away. I don't know. I don't know. This could pick up. If this thing can get me to invest in these twins as people, this is something that could work. Like, it hasn't lost me. It just hasn't hooked me. I'm like still in this quantum super state of like, I don't know. So this could still go either way. And this could end up being something I really enjoy that just starts like not as strong as it could have. Or it could be something that I end up falling off. I will say that I think the scene that I liked best was the confrontation with the Jedi who was like meditating, and like he meditated himself an impenetrable force field. I like how that confrontation and that whole thing was resolved, where May just places this poison in front of him and says, if you just drink this, I will forgive you. I will give you absolution for what you did. And he drinks it. Like, that really makes you wonder, like, what the hell happened? That having been said, maybe this is, again, just because my opinion of the Jedi isn't that high in the first place. It's not a particularly strong hook. Like, be like, ooh, what did some of these Jedi do? Ooh, what awful thing? I'm like, I don't know. Something stupid. Jedi do not great things. That's actually not like a major revelation to me. Even though I have not taken in a ton of all this ancillary material, but I don't know. Like I said, it hasn't lost me. I haven't bounced, but I'm not hooked either. I'm just kind of like, I'll stick with this. The instant it becomes an inconvenience, if it hasn't hooked me by then, I might drop it. Not out of being like, not watching that again, but maybe just out of a, you know what, I have other stuff to do. But right now, it's serviceable. This could be something. This could turn into something that I'm really interested in. But right now, as it stands, 2-episode premiere, I'm just left going, okay, I'm still waiting to see. I don't know. The Acolyte, what'd you think of the first 2 episodes? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. I have a suspicion that this is going to be another one of those instances where people who have not fallen off Star Wars in a lot of the ways I have are going to come in and be all like, why'd you even watch it if you don't like Star Wars? Like, I do like Star Wars. I love Andor. I'm looking forward to the second season of that. Like, Star Wars I grew up on Star Wars. And I would still love for Star Wars to surprise me and remind me of reasons why I love it, or find new reasons for me to love it, which is what Andor did. But it just, it hasn't done that very much. I don't know. I keep trying. I keep rolling the dice every now and then. Not on everything. If I'm pretty confident I'm not going to like it, I don't watch it. I'm trying to give this thing a fair shake. Anyways, if you don't find me overly negative or bitchy, which I'm sure some people will accuse me of being, Patreon, you can support what I do. This is, in fact, my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, subscribe. Those all help, but don't worry too much about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so just come on back. Next time you need a break. Now to give my thanks to my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfula, Badasalita, Oliver B., Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Jean Foray, Ulrich Bogdan, Loki Eris, Melinda Walters, Jen, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Bernabi Likes the Poodle, Tracy Scrappett, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, White Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Toka Blahuvian, Pau Barabajagal, and Mara G. Thank you so much for your support. You can get your name said, maybe even correctly, in the Patreon support tiers. Also, it helps me feed these little buggers.